Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are live on Black Power Radio. This is your host, one of your hosts for tonight, Sister Queen Janae Nzinga, along with my very special co-host, Sister Dr. Truth Bay. We have an
Hey,
action-packed
hey,
show for
hey.
you all. How y'all doing? How you doing, Queen? All
All
right.
right. We are a lot to unravel today. Black
Um,
Power.
Black Power, everybody. We want to start off the show, give our guests a little time to get comfortable, get situated. We're gonna call this segment "Boss Lady Radio Music." So if you got any music that you want to play and air on Black Power Radio, please let us know. We support independent artists. We support conscious rap. Okay, we don't want the junk. We don't want the drama. We don't want the little sexy reds and all that stuff. But we are going to support our local artists here in Washington, D.C. and around the country. This is an artist, local artist here in Washington, D.C. His name is DJ, yeah, Big Chad. Okay, so just sit and vibe out, give our guests a little time to come in and enjoy the show. Okay, Dr. Truth Bay, you ready? I'm excited about this time. Okay.
I let my radio I'm in my room. Sitting in my room. I let my radio I'm in my room. All around the world, the same song. Digital underground people. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month, which I know about it. Hey, I'm in the middle of the bomb, crucial conflict, you feel me? Do you wanna ride in the backseat of a caddy, do or die, which I know about it. No limit, which I know about, make them say, bling, bling. Y'all heard what it say, BG, come home soon. What y'all know about that Brenda Got a Baby, man? That's the first hip-hop song I ever heard Mama Graves played for me. What you know about it, man? I ain't gonna say I'm hip-hop. Where my headphones at, man? I don't know. Turn my radio up a little bit more. What I'm doing? Sitting in my room. I let my radio I'm in my room. I let my radio sitting in my room. I let my radio I'm in my room. The show. It was all a dream. I used to read that Word Up magazine. Back then when Wu-Tang was talking cream, I remember when I ain't know about the music, but watching Mike Jack show Tiny how to do it. Now Brenda's got a baby, that's when my mom playing Baby's Got Back. I ain't even having sex yet. Now it's 9-4 for the love of the money. Bone thugs, fast flows, them Ohio boys hungry. Yeah, I came up in them times, just sitting in my room, drinking milk, writing rhymes. Bling, bling, Juvie said, back that ass up, and Wayne was like, wobbly, wobbly, what? Yeah, I'm a hip-hop head, and if you getting hip-hop money, it's hip-hop feds. So make sure that your game is tight, and it's cool to freestyle, but you always right, cuz sitting in my room, I let my radio yeah, I'm in my room, I let my radio sitting in my room, I let my radio yeah, I'm in my room, I let my radio Hip-hop graduated from the old days. Everybody got dreads. What happened to braids? What happened to crisscross? And people trying to jump. Know every male young thugs ride with pumps. That ain't hip-hop. You're like flip-flop. I'm a classic rapper like Dre's Detox. Hey, I'm Tiny Lee. I done been in the group, but niggas get discharged like military troops. I'm all alone, like the hot boys left. I got metal keep gear and I'm solid self. I love hip-hop people, and I got the juice. You can try to play Raheem and our Bishop shoot. That's a problem. Every rapper a killer. Every rapper getting money and they say it's a nigga. Well, I'm a broke rapper and I don't be in the trap. But when it come to spitting bars, I'm hip hop with that. Cause sitting in my room, I let my radio boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I'm in my room, I let my radio boom, boom, boom. Yeah, sitting in my room.
All right. Well, that was Brother Chaz, DJ Chaz here in Washington, D.C. We want to give him a shout out. Good fella. He worked with us here in Washington, D.C. during the Halloween event. And he said he had some good music for me to play on the radio. So how do you guys feel about that?
All
So
right.
Excuse me.
I love that. The
Yeah,
boom, boom, boom in the room.
We're going to try to give hip hop a chance to survive with all the Diddy bop going on. Okay.
That part.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But that's some dope. So if anyone does have any new music, we definitely want to hear underground conscious artists fill up the spaces, and that was dope. So let's hear it out.
All right. So I want to introduce our first guest. We got Miss Courtney in the building. All right, Groove Diva. How you doing, sweet Queen Courtney? Courtney Green.
Peace to the room. Thank you so much.
All right, sis. Greetings.
Greetings. That's okay. You can, yeah. We also got Sister Queen on the panel, and we got Brother Raheem Shabazz, and I see Queen Mother Kashiba is here. Okay. So we're going to just give you the spotlight for a little minute, Courtney Green, and tell us about your organization and what you are a part of and how we're going to pump up this DMV area and get it back on track. Go ahead. You got the floor, Queen.
Thank you so much, Mama. My name is Courtney Green. My stage name is Groove Diva. I'm a pianist and singer, underground, based out of Washington, D.C. And I volunteer for Hip Hop Congress, which is a nonprofit, a international nonprofit. I forgot about our African chapters, and they're getting on very well. Our aim is to preserve, promote, and act within the 5 pillars of hip hop culture. Each and every one of the arts related to the arts that come out of hip hop culture is its own entity, and people can use the arts however they please, but the central philosophy in hip hop is inherently, and it was founded in this too, mutual aid, which is the rent parties at Sedgwick, for example, the way that the earliest hip hop labels would share resources, and so on and so forth. Networking when we don't have the generational wealth to compete in a capitalist society. Another one of those values that we as Hip Hop Congress are founded on within the discipline of hip hop is activism. The first lyricists were people spitting prison rhymes over Kool Herc's beats, and what they used to call prison rhymes. Then came Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, speaking politically, speaking about political situation, political atmosphere in a late stage capitalist society. So it is the belief of Hip Hop Congress that the original value system of hip hop, which is for the people, which is decentralization of leadership, which is putting power in the hands of those who live with the decisions right? That powerful people make. That's our MO over at Hip Hop Congress. We're trying to found the first DC chapter in the 25-year history of Hip Hop Congress. And we can't wait to work with people in the community, both locally and abroad, as well as internationally, to create social change so that more citizens of the world, not just within hip hop culture, but in general, can understand what human rights is all about. And it does not look like the Eurocentric supremacy that that has been fed to us as the ideal of democracy. Thank y'all so much for letting me share with y'all and for allowing me to participate in the conversation. I'm gonna land my plane.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on, Courtney. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, we want to know a little bit more about the Hip Hop Congress currently, how you're mobilizing the youth, and how we can support your efforts.
Thank you so much for that question, Mama. The ways that each chapter mobilizes and does activism is different from chapter to chapter. So I'll give you some examples of chapters that work more directly with youth. That's our chapter in South Africa, the Heal the Hood Foundation. That's one of our partner organizations, which is also a chapter of Hip Hop Congress. They use hip hop within education as a way of familiarizing children with not just hip hop culture, but hip hop ideals, teaching them sharing and using the 5 pillars of hip hop as a rubric for modeling our education systems. We work with partners like Guerrilla Arts Inc., which is a local business founded by none other than the illustrious Asheru. He is the one whose words live on in the Boondocks theme, Judo Chop. The song is called Judo Chop, and his words are, "I am the stone that the builder refused, the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues." That's how the song starts, and that is a demonstration as to how other chapters incorporate for example, lyrical analysis in English class. For example, using lyrics within lyrics, not just of songs, but also poems. Spoken word was one of the things that the previous generation, the boomers, passed down to the hip hop generation. The spoken word, the last poets, Gil Scott-Heron, Tony Blackman. Well, she's definitely hip. She's one of she's one of the examples of our culture, and so lyrical analysis in the same way that we analyze these so-called great works, these that of history, like Samuel Taylor Coleridge and all of these British, like for example, Britlit, and that's supposed to be our curriculum, right, in the school. So we place hip hop in that same position. There have been masterpieces that discuss the same value system that hip hop was founded upon: love and shared power. And
right.
And so that
I wanted to, because you just hit the nail on the head. You just hit a very important subject concerning hip hop, the 5 elements. So can you tell us, a listening audience, a little bit about what are the 5 elements of hip hop and why knowledge is so important to be put back in music?
Absolutely. I'm going to name the knowledge of self last, because it is the foundational philosophy. It is the that is what we call that value system that I was referring to. That is the combination of that value system that includes decentralization, shared power, and love, human rights, that thing. Uh, so the five pillars are the music, which includes which is mainly the DJ, and can include a band or a singer to support that effort. The producer is also within that pillar of hip hop. The the producer is and then is making the beats that the DJ is playing for us. The turn, well, I shouldn't even say DJ in hip hop we have turntablists. You know, you don't have beat jumping regular at a part wedding DJ. So anyway, let me not. So that's so that's one pillar. The next pillar is lyricism. So spoken word artists and rap lyricists, singers who are writing.
MCing.
Yes, MCing. Thank you. The third pillar is the dancers, the movement. I'm glad, you know what? I'm glad that you had me name those, because that reminds me of one of the programs that Hip Hop Congress is actually working on. I can't go into too much detail, but breaking is a vast and is under-documented art form. Movement of the body, movement, and it creates health. It creates solidarity. And so that's a pillar, the movement pillar. The next pillar is, where am I? Where am I? Can you help me?
We have some of our youth on graffiti, on artists.
Visual art. Yes, visual art and fashion is the fourth pillar. Jam Master Jay, for example, is the trailblazer in what we now call hip hop fashion. There's a certain aesthetic that the pop culture has appropriated, but it's a distinct aesthetic that is composed of all the things that were available to us, and also were really aesthetically pleasing, and especially making athletic wear fashionable, making look, now we have these Balenciaga sneakers. That came from just the fact that there was a market for that, came from the market that was created by Jays. And we, those are our Jimmy Choos. Those are our, so graffiti murals are our way of expressing ourselves visually. So fashion and graffiti are part of the fourth pillar of hip hop, the visual, and the visual inspiration. And finally, the most important pillar, knowledge of self. We must know our history. We must know our value system. We must know our each other. We must know each other, and to that end, knowing what each other needs, checking in on each other, knowing what each other wants in the world, wants to see in the world, and knowing what the ancestors left for us as our plans and our blueprints for freedom, justice, equality, and human rights. And so those are the five pillars.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
So much let me tell you how I met Courtney though. We have got to tell the story. So, I'm kind of one of those people that just let the spirit lead me wherever I need to go in the city. And I was just sitting on the park bench, smoking my little Black and Mild, just relaxing before I go home because I had to take breaks. Okay. Because I'm walking in pain every day. Know that I get around, but I do have to take breaks. So Courtney was on a very important conference, Zoom call, while she was exercising. And I just overheard her speaking about the economic stability and the housing situation and the problems that we're facing here in Washington, D.C. and pretty much all over the world. And then she has California representatives from her organization as well. So our spirits just agreed with one another, so that's what I really want y'all to focus on, that what we're doing is we are divinely connected. We are building, we are restructuring, we're no longer just getting along to get along. You know, the most high is orchestrating everything that we are doing from this point forward because it's
Amen.
necessary. We see that nobody's gonna do this for us. Nobody's gonna sit
Right.
us down and tell us that this is the plan and this is what we're doing to you all, and this is what y'all gonna have to
Yes.
deal with. So we are the leaders of tomorrow. We got to stop backing down from our leadership positions and really hone in and own it. You know, this sister is owning what she was doing and what she has been doing here in Washington D.C. over the years. You know, we never got to meet. I heard about her, but I never met her in person, and just happened to be at the right place in the right time to meet this sister. So please give her the honor and the respect that you give to me as the chairwoman here in DC. Um, and just thank you. Thank you, Courtney, for not giving up. Okay, we got busy one on now. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being a part of the revolution because this is where the real work, where you shake your man said, this is where the rubber meets the road right here. The people that have put in the work, people that have dedicated their lives to educating us, whether it's through hip hop, the culture, whether it's through our activism, whether it's just sitting on the park bench and having a conversation, y'all. So just get ready.
Mhm.
Like we got less than 45 days to really make a big change and a big difference for the people that we pretend to say we love. You know, we not the most tolerable of each other. You know, and everybody has their shortcomings. Everybody has their, I say, their vices. That's what I say. But if for the love of the people, we have got to organize. It's not that we don't have the people or the power. We just don't have the organization. So from this point forward, we are determined to stay organized and stay on the battlefield and do what it is necessary to make things better for black and brown people in the country. Ashe?
Ashe.
Hey,
Ashe. All right. So we are live on Busy One Radio as well. We want to thank them for joining us. Yes, we're
Busy
live.
one
Busy
thank
in the
One
you
is in
building.
the
for
building.
having us.
Mhm.
Yes. And please come on back. And also before you split, Miss Courtney, tell us where we can find the Hip Hop Congress, or for our listening audience, how we can support you. Any links, drop it down so we can contact you and get our people on board. Got to support this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking, Doctor. We have an international website, and the DC chapter has social media. So our national website is hiphopcongress.com, hiphopcongress.com, hiphopcongress.com. And we
I'm gonna
how
put
even
that
though
in the
it's
chat.
.com, and we are a 501c3. I just want to put that. I'm actually not sure. It was above my pay grade when they put the website up. So not that I volunteer for
We
them.
will put it in the
Way
chat.
above. So hiphopcongress.com is our national website, and you can find any of the various chapters that are close to you, or if there's not a chapter close to you and you are interested in forming a chapter, that would help us out as well. There are school chapters as well as community chapters and partner chapters. So if you already have an organization, you're part of an organization, you can make that a partner chapter. But long story short, you can find us on those individual chapters on social media, any of the Meta socials, because that's the one with the biggest reach, as well as our own social media within the organization, which is I'm sorry, Poetic Recovery Foundation, the Poetic Recovery Foundation. If you Google up Poetic Recovery Foundation, then you'll also find our social media. That's one of our partners too. So that's our social media platform, and you can find any of the chapters. Just search up Hip Hop Congress and put your city in, or anything that's close to you, and you'll find us on Instagram, if nothing else. Thank you so much for asking.
Woohoo! South Central. That's where my hometown is. So you best believe I'm finna reach out to the South Central chapter of the Hip Hop Congress. Oh, it's such an honor to have you here with us, Miss Courtney. We call it Green Diva. Is that the correct Miss Green
Groove
Queen
Diva.
Green?
Wow, I like that.
I
That
love
might
it.
be an album right there. You might have just named the album for me. I'm about to get the writing credits real quick.
That's right. You better give me some
My
of the
stage name is
royalties. Let's go.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
you know what? Bob Marley showed us that example. He showed us that example
Yes,
that
ma'am.
he gave his friend writing credit on a song because the friend simply inspired the song. The friend
Mhm.
was so powerful that this person was such a good person. He inspired a song, so he gave him writing credits, and his family still benefits from those royalties to this day. Thank you for naming that, because that I know it's very specific, and we're running out of time, but that's just an example of ways that we find to share with each other, to do mutual aid when
Yes.
use what we have to and do what we can with what we got, and to build more. So thank you so much for that, for bringing that up. And my
Absolutely.
stage name is Groove Diva. Groove Diva. I will do
Groove Diva.
Yes, Groove Diva. Like we're riding on a groove line tonight.
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
where
That's more fun.
line.
Yes.
Thank y'all
All right.
so
Well,
much.
so grateful. And again, it's so important. We want to have more guests. When it comes to our young people family, we got to address music. There's no way around that. This is the language of what's been helping our minds of our young people when turned that around. Like I said, instilling knowledge of self is so important. So let's continue to support Hip Hop Congress and many other groups related that are in the field, continuing to work. So Ms. Groove Diva, it's an honor, and we'd love to have you back on. So I did want to put a little bit on the show that we'll be talking a little bit to Ms. Tasha Danvers, who is a Olympic medalist, who now is an activist as well. We had her last week concerning Prop 6, and we'll talk a little bit about the results of Proposition 6 and why this is an important measure for us to continue to boil over. But overall, again, thank you for listening to Black Power Radio. We are here every Sunday and Monday. Shout out to Busy One Entertainment. You can hear us live on Busy One Radio. So download the app, Busy One Radio or B1 Entertainment. So shout out to Barry Cobb and the group for making this happen. And to Boss Up Radio, of course, our lovely host, General Janae, holding it down. We're so grateful to have you here with us today on November 10th on Black Power Radio. So with that being said, I relinquish the mic back to our host, Queen General Janae.
All right, this is General Janae Nzinga. We have a packed house. So if you're not speaking tonight or on the panel, can you join us on Bossed Up Radio Show on YouTube and just drop out the studio? We can't even get our guests in, but you can watch the show either on Bossed Up Radio Show or Black Business Matters on Facebook, okay? I don't want to kick nobody out. I really ask you to leave on your own accord. But if you're not on the show, please drop down and watch us. We can't even get National Chairman in the room right now. All right. Thank you, sister. And just come back, watch us, give us, share the live. You can still participate in the conversation. Just share the live and come back, okay? Queen Mother Kashiba, I'm gonna drop you out just to make some room, okay? All right. But we are so glad to have y'all on Black Power Radio tonight. This is the most informative radio show on the network, on YouTube,
Planet.
on the planet, the radio and TV news. I want to bring up Sister Queen on the stage. All right, there we go. Shaky Ma'am Akbar is on the stage. All right, there's our national chairman. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Now,
thank you again for
Woohoo!
joining us tonight at Black Power Radio TV News. Again, we have the most informative radio talk show on the internet, your Facebook, No Look. If you decide to go to Twitter and Glitter, Instagram with No Ham, certainly if you come in from LinkedIn or linked out. Without a doubt, we'll give you more of what you actually listen to radio and TV news for. I'm one of the hosts tonight, Sheikh El-Imam Akbar Abdullah Kareem. I think we have guests in the studio full, and we're happy that you decided to join us tonight at Black Power Radio. Of course, you could have went on to the Tiger Woods golf tournament, and they were holding it, I think, in Augusta, and many of you have an opportunity to get a green jacket, but you passed it up and joined us here tonight on Black Power Radio. And I know there are two in the audience. I can see you. There are two in the audience that were going to their nephew's bar mitzvah tonight. They bypassed, came here to Black Power Radio TV News and joined us in the studio. Of course, there are many that missed the soccer mom practice tonight. We do regretfully appeal to you to remain here. Now that you're here, you might as well stay. Don't you dare go away. We're right here live at Black Power Radio. And we're gonna rock the mic. You already know tonight. We have no choice. These social political circumstances that makes us null and void. So if you got your smartphone, you can get in on the first row. And if you got your dumb phone, the second row has been reserved for you. Waving back at us, black at us tonight on the third row. We have all the Android phone people. Please don't bomb rush it, but it won't be room for about 3 more Androids can get on tonight on the third row. So y'all know they're happy as hell to get their reserves. Oh, they're waving back. They're waving at us today. There goes the Android people. And of course, if any of you have a paranoid phone tonight, oh, my. All the paranoid folks, we have one piece of advice. Just go ahead and buckle your seatbelts. Sit back and enjoy the ride tonight because you're live on Black Power Radio. I'll let you all take it away. You already know the jingles and the jangles and all the stuff we could say and would say. But I know y'all got some important guests tonight. And we don't want to hold up anymore with our rhetoric and talking out the side of our neck. And we the side of our rhyme this time. But I'll say to this, but stay with us at Black Power Radio. Only one announcement to come to, you either be there, be square, and in New York City, we'll be there on Black Friday. We're asking everyone to push the flyer and to let people know to hold your money. Do not be a stimulus package for Best Buy, Staples, Starbucks, McDevils, what is that? Burger King, Murder King, Taco Bell, Jocko Bell. Stay out of those places for the whole month of November. And stick with us with Black Power Radio. We're going somewhere. Black Power. Black Power.
Black Power. Keep them dollars in. Yes, thank you so much, National Chairman. So please, let's keep that on board. So who do we have on the stage right here? Let's give a little shout out and a little love to our Black Power audience. Let's go. Unmute that mic. Give a shout out. Welcome to Black Power Radio.
Shout out, brothers.
Welcome.
All right, we want to hear from Brother New World. Brother New World, give us your report from Nat Turner Land, okay? You got the mic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is Brother New World. I'm down here on the Nat Turner property with Brother Ibn Khalifa and Sister Aisha. And we're going to tell you what's going on tomorrow. So before you get to that Friday where you're supposed to hold all your money, you can come down here and be with your family and learn more about what we really should be all about in the 21st century and beyond. So I'm here with Brother Ibn Khalifa, and I'm going to let him tell you what's going on tomorrow. And we can get on board and just earn your right to breathe every day. Too many people have paid far too high of a price for far too damn long for us to be as ignorant as we are. So I'm going to bring on Brother Ibn Khalifa and let him tell you what's really going on for tomorrow so we can all come down and fill this place up. Please, black people. You give too much money to your enemy, so stop funding your own genocide. And let's just be about this Brother Nat Turner and his family's keeping up the work, y'all.
Greetings and peace, family. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for having me on board. My name is Yes, alhamdulillah, brother. My name is Khalifa Muhammad. I'm son of Elder Baba Khalifa Sr. He is the founder of the Nat Turner Library. And we are here in what we call Southampton County, Nat Turner country, in celebration of all of our ancestors. but especially our dearly departed ancestor, General Honorable Prophet Nat Turner. So we are right here in the part of Southampton County called Capron. And again, November 11th marks the anniversary of Nat Turner's return to the essence.
Right on.
We celebrate not only his life, but again, all of our ancestors who were freedom fighters in our glorious and beautiful struggle for the liberation of our people. So every day that we celebrate Nat Turner here for those special occasions, be it 11/11 or October the 2nd, which is his birthday, we have the Mystic Fair, or what we call Nat Turner Day affectionately, which is August the 21st, celebrating the rebellion and the revolt, the most successful slave revolt in the history of the United States of America. We always have an event commemorating that, and we always do a tour of what we call the Nat Turner War Trail right here in Southampton County, Virginia, where we retrace the steps of the Black Liberation Army of 1831. So,
Yes, sir.
and also August 21st, which is the anniversary of the rebellion, also coincides with the birthday of our dear brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. So he comes through on October the 2nd, November 11th, and also for his birthday too. He shares his time and his wisdom with us in his presence. So if you'd like to join us tomorrow, for more information on how to purchase tickets, just make a donation, just say peace, or even to schedule a tour. If you're not able to make it out tomorrow, you can go to natturnerlibrary.com. That's Nat Turner, it's with 2 T's, natturnerlibrary.com. Brothers and sisters, I thank you very much for allowing me graciously to share a few minutes of your airtime to talk about what we're doing down here. We hope and pray that all who are able can make it out tomorrow. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.
Come on down. We all bring the family together. And I want to introduce you to an educator I met down here, and I want to tell y'all the inside story till the radio show goes off. But I just found out some wonderful news today dealing with my own damn lineage. Yes, I got family. But anyway, want to introduce you to another educator here on the property tonight, getting set up for tomorrow. So we have plenty of vendors coming in to do this wonderful work, and we need as many of the family to come through and join us tomorrow. But I want to introduce you to Sister Aisha, and let her tell you what we got going on and how you all can support us, the Black family, and what's going on Nat Turner's property tomorrow.
Habarigani, the news is Nat Turner Land tour tomorrow, and we will have a special event at the lodge that we're at in Capron, Virginia. You could go to Instagram and find out the information if you look under Nat Turner Library or AJ Jones, or you can even go to my page. I'm here to represent B9 Live Endeavors. I am a vendor. I usually help set up the vendors here, and sometimes I get to be the MC or the host. So I am a part of this Nat Turner family, and just as Brother New World has mentioned, we have found out some great information, which he will share with you later. It's going to be kind of comical, but Allah is the best of planners. So I bear witness that this is one of the greatest tours that you could ever participate in. It's Black owned and Black ran, and it's Black history. So y'all come on out, RBG. We're going to come out and support. The Black Panthers always come and offer us security. We give thanks for that. And we give thanks for those of you in DC that I'm affiliated with. And we know that you send people our way. Let's all come together. We're gonna the only way we can accomplish a Huru is through Ubuntu, where we come together. You are me and I am you, and we are one. Amen.
Ashe.
Ubuntu. I am because we are. Ain't that a beautiful thing? If you ever learn to practice it with consistency, it would feel good all the time. You can take charge of life. Anyway, just want to say I'm out here on the property. We're doing good work, y'all. Trying to keep this thing going. Trying to.
We lost them. I don't know what happened.
Oh no!
We got
Nat
a bad
Turner
connection.
Land.
Yeah, sometimes they have a bad connection out there. All
Yes,
right.
we're so grateful to hear from that. If you
Hear
have
from
not
you.
visited, actually, that's one of my bucket lists is to visit Nat Turner Land. But I'm so grateful to see it active, and thank you for the update. Let's keep it hope alive.
All
Keep
right.
that
So I
legacy
want to
going.
bring Sister Queen from Washington, D.C. You ready, Sister Queen? And tell us what you're doing over there in Southeast Washington, D.C. What programs you got?
Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me?
can hear you, Queen. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Greetings. My phone is
Welcome.
about to die, so I was trying to
All
keep
right.
everything low maintenance, but it's gonna get to twitching out. But greetings, everyone. Blessings. Right now, what I'm a director over at a Black Community Resource Center. Um, just essentially right now is really at the ground level. Looking just to be that Black resource for our people. So right now we had an event where we gave out, hygiene kits and food and everything like that and clothes. But really want to elevate it to that level of really providing knowledge and training and skills. So I've been meeting with some like meeting with people who have the skills, who've been experts. Just been meeting with them to get them on our agenda to start offering these free courses to the community and public. So, like I said, we're doing the background work right now, but that is what I have been solicited at this time to do. Mainly outside of that, I'm in the legal resources. I help our people make sure their T's are dotted, their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted, and just really sharing information with my people, essentially. And just making myself more knowledgeable and aligning myself with people to get the funds that I know is needed to do all of these efforts. So right now I'm building wealth, and my main
Build that
passion
wealth,
is,
baby.
yeah, my main passion overall. I'm a creator by nature. I went to the New York Film Academy. I do documentary. That's my passion. But right now I'm putting that to side so I can be my own self. Like I want to like invest in myself. So that's why I'm out here just raising capital and doing it in a way where I'm, as they say, uh doing good and helping people, or something like that. But that's it right now. Yeah, I'm really just about liberating my people, and I love to align myself with my elders, um and just be amongst that pool of information at the end of the day. So it's a lot.
Yes. So
And
shout
it's
out to
that
you.
I ain't prepared
Yes.
nothing formally.
Absolutely,
I
Black
ain't
Power.
prepared nothing formally to speak or say anything. That's just me running down right quick. But yes, essentially that is he.
Well,
That is
you ready. You gotta be ready instead of getting ready. You in that place, sister, doing the footwork. And we want to honor you. Thank you so much for that important work that you're doing. And we want you to give our listening audience a contact information or how we can reach out to support your efforts, especially if you want to work in the community and do film as well. Shout out to you on that.
Yes, thank you so much. Right now my contact, I literally got to deal with people in person, so I don't really do too much on the social media at this particular time. That's on the back burner. I'm really building relationships, so you can reach me at 601 701 3680. And I really like partnering with like-minded, so business owners, um people who are forward thinkers, because I'm looking for partnership and people who I can do in think tanks and grow and generate ideas together and move on like that. So yeah, partner with other great minds,
Yes, ma'am.
essentially. So again, that number is 601 701 3680. It is a Mississippi area code. I'm from Maryland. I'm from PG County. But I moved away when I was 23 years old. I've been gone for about 7 years. Unintentionally, I just got back up here probably about 6 months ago, unexpectedly. So I've been gone from the area for 7 years, but like when I get back, it's boots on the ground. I see a lot going on that's changed, and something need to happen. So
That's
I'm here to
right.
make things
So we
happen.
talking right now. Those who are joining us right now, thank you for joining Black Power Radio. Our main topic today is talking about the influential women to look for in 2025. And we have some great dynamic guests, some definitely queens, no pun intended, doing the work in the streets, boots on the ground right now. So we just heard from Sister Queen, who is mobilizing our youth in the area. So definitely give our people a shout out and support the activists, the people that are doing the work, women and children. I tell you, we need the most support ever because our youth is the future, and a lot of our women's been underrated. But we do have some great guests tonight that will be talking, continue to talk out throughout the show. So I want to give a shout out again to Busy One Radio. Please, if you want to listen to this live, also Bossed Up Radio, Queen Janae, and we also have some other platforms for you to listen in as we speak. But later on during the show, we'll be interviewing one of our greatest guests, Olympic bronze medalist Tasha Danvers, who also is a great activist in the community concerning Prop 6 and many others, counselor as well as a coach and a athlete still in training. So we look forward in the second hour to invite her in and hear any more. So speaking of people doing stuff in the street, we don't want to forget our men. Even though we're honoring our women and our queens today, I do want to give a shout out to Brother Raheem. Is he in the house? To give a shout out to the audience, do for self. So let's hear from Brother Raheem.
Thank you for giving me a shout out. I don't get shout outs. Black Power, salute.
Black Power,
thank
brother.
Thank you, General Cook. Thank you, General Akbar. Thank you, MOJ, Truth Justice, and everybody who's on board with Bossed Up Radio. I will tell y'all to continue to lock in with General Janae, no matter where you at. And the sisters and the brothers in the DC area continue to lock in with General Janae and General Akbar, the honorable leadership. I'm out here in the Hampton, Virginia area, mobilizing the 757 and mobilizing Philadelphia. And 9 times out of 10, inshallah, I'm going to be in Harlem, NYC, representing front and center. And we're just going to continue to mobilize the youth because we want to get the youth off the streets and get them into historical Black colleges, universities, and get them educated so we can revamp the system that we're caught up in. So we fight white imperialism, we fight white supremacy and all that mess that's trying to basically stop the Black men and Black women and Black youth from rising. So I would tell y'all, everybody who can hear is just continue to lock in with the brothers and sisters and lock in with Bossed Up Radio just like I did. And we will continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? So salute, Black Power. And keep pushing.
Black Power, Black Power. Thank you,
Black
Brother
Power.
Ra.
Thank you, brother. Mm-hmm.
Black Power.
All right. So I'm gonna add everyone to the stage once again. Okay. There we go. I'm learning how to use this thing. So yeah, we all in a learning curve right now. Okay. So
Right.
I wanted to let you all know. Yes, I did email to a lot of people the Project 2025 plan. If you don't have it, drop your email in the chat room and I will send it to you. You must read this. It's about 900 pages. Okay.
Ain't no
But in
joke.
order to understand your enemy, you must study your enemy like they study us. Okay. They study us and we need to study them and we need to know how we can counteract this plan because a lot of the things that we are doing now is going to be necessary. Do you understand? It's no longer an option or I want to do this or I've thought about doing that. We got to do it, y'all. Like Brother Nazar said, shut your damn mouth. And I can say that on this platform. Shut up and do the work. Okay?
Do the work.
Let's get
By
the
any
work.
means necessary.
Put aside all this little personal stuff. Put it aside. Don't want to see it. Not interested in it. Okay, we got to build these programs and these platforms. We using Black Power Radio as a platform, a building tool. Okay, this is Black Power Radio on Sunday nights and Monday nights. If you are a community activist or you call yourself a leader, you need to be on this hall. You need to be giving your updates. You need to be networking and joining forces with us. I get calls every day of people asking for help, and I don't have enough resources to help all these people. So I'm asking tonight, we're asking you to make donations to Black Power Radio. We ask you to make donations to Rashadon Community Center. We ask you to make donations wherever you can, when you see black people are in need. Brother New World is still asking for donations. You know, so please support the platform. If you support us, we can support you, and that's what we're doing here on Black Power Radio. This is for the people. This is an informational platform for the people, by the people. Okay,
That's right.
Black Power. And you got anything on that, Shaky Ma'am Akbar? You with us? He with us.
All right.
I'm here,
Yes.
General Janae.
All right, you got
I
your
was
report from California, Queen Quit. Go ahead.
Well, the thing that I want to do is just an idea, because one of the things that we have to do is also a healing. You know, instead of everybody's upset, they arguing, or you know, being unkind to each other. And I think that, you know, that begins with a healing, a cleansing. So what I'm going to do this week is have a dinner party and invite some of my girlfriends over. They married, or some of them are single mothers, and you know, they have children or whatever, just to talk about like what's going on as a sister, because sometimes a woman doesn't want to be around a man, you know, talking about things that's going on with them. Sometimes it has to be around women. And I asked Dr. Truth Babe if she could come over and you know, just to speak to us, give positive enlightenment and everything else. So my thing is about the empowerment of women, just like Sister Queen was talking about as well. And I think that we have to do that as sisters. You know what I'm saying? I know that the brothers, they probably talk to, you know, the other brothers when they have problems going on, but the sisters got to have a safe space that they can actually come to us and we can actually give them some help, whether it's, like I said, like a healing, you know, just a healing. And then you talk about the ancestors. So I want to read you guys something out of the book called Higher Ground that was written by Dr. Baruti. He said, warriors stand, reminded to always know that what your ancestors couldn't do for you in life, they can do for you in death. Call on them whenever in fear, apprehension, confusion, or betrayal appear that the ancestors in. Call on them for guidance and assistance. If the spirit exists, as we know that it does, then what you ask of, it comes. But unless you call out, who will open the door? Our ancestors is here for us, and they are willing to help us by any means necessary. And we are our ancestors.
Right on, right on. That powerful piece. Thank you so much for that, Queen Desiree. We are appreciative so much, especially when it comes to poetic literature, to be in perspective, to encourage one another. And yes, we need to heal. Oh, we some traumatized people, folks. That is an understatement. But how we portray that traumatization, we turn it into power, into organizing, into legislation. There's so many fashions right now that we can turn things around, but we must study, family. We must study and show yourself approved. In order for us to be international, national figures, we must focus locally on what we can do to make the change in our backyard. So wherever you are, make sure you organize and gather with positive people that you know that are doing the work in the field. 2025, we got to be geared up. We got to be prepared to have our foundations, to build housing, to create our own educational institutions, to develop job development for our people, and most importantly, to grow our own food. Health and nutrition is a big part in everything that we do. So continue to buy Black, continue to study and support our people. We all we got. Family, we all we got. Whether we like it or not, we may fight here and there, but we all we got. We got to show each other love and keep it pushing. So before we go into our next guest, I wanted to give a reminder of a story of one of our sisters that we want to honor. So we can give a little update concerning Sasha Johnson. Now, Sasha Johnson from Oxford England, was a prolific, prominent figure in activism, especially in representing those in England, Black people who have been receiving less than. As we know the history, we are the United States. It's no different than in England. But Sasha Johnson has been in the forefront for at least the last decade before tragedy struck. So we're going to just remind you a little bit about Sasha Johnson and her journey into activism. Here we go. Set up that footage. Okay, thank you.
Let down by Labour, Conservative, and Lib Dem and all of them. We want a political party, one that reflects the multicultural nation that we have become.
Did we lose audio?
Yes, for a little bit.
Okay, just give it a little time. It's just a little slow. It's the stream.
May I throw something in while we're waiting?
Yes, go ahead.
You were referring to motivating the youth to do the action necessary towards freedom, and I wanted to share with the studio audience that I learned the hard way that learning the history as part of that work, learning the accurate history from all sides of the story, not the side that they gave you in the textbooks in these Western schools. So,
Ashe, sister, Ashe.
Thank you, Mama. And each and every ancestor had a different perspective to share. Baba Marcus Garvey studied how the Western system was based. He himself wrote in favor of what they defined as fascism back then, long before World War II. He had a fiercely opposed viewpoint to another ancestor, Baba W.E.B. Du Bois, and who later did apologize for his remarks to Baba Marcus Garvey. These are two formidable Black minds, and knowing how to put the two seemingly opposing strategies together, that is the only puzzle piece that has seemed to work thus far, but has been rare because of the suppression of all of the cultures of communalism. Even Lenin himself wrote in admiration of the decentralized societies, the communal societies, ancient in Africa. He wrote that himself. Now we wonder why Stalin felt the way he felt about him. You know, maybe I might be getting a little bit too political here for this platform, but
no, you're doing just well, sister. Keep it going. You're doing very well.
Thank you so much for that permission, Mama. I'm so grateful for a community that came out of an ugly thing like COVID. I discovered on social media platforms that were outside of the super corporation systems, people sharing those writings and the histories of the first Pan-African Congresses, and how those systems connected the ideals of decentralization that Lenin admired in Africa, how they can apply and keep as many people alive and well as possible instead of individualism, instead of these cultures of Western hyper-individualism and competition to the death. I'm so grateful.
So with the sister with that, I would like to read, because she's talking about Marcus Garvey, I would like to read a poem that actually comes from Marcus Garvey's book, The Message to the People, if I may. It's called My Altar. I've built a sacred place, all mine, to worship God who is divine, to go there every day in thought, right to my own dear sacred heart, my altar. No one can change me in my mood, for I do live on God's sweet food. He feeds me every day with love, while angels look at it from above, my altar. When all the world goes wrong without, I never hold on a single doubt, for I do find a great relief when I do trust my own belief, my altar. I see the Savior of the world, whose light is to all has been unfurled. He utters agonizing plea with shining eyes that surely see, my altar. I shall remain with faith of rock to see the shepherd lead his flock. Lead his flock. And when he comes to claim each heart, my yield shall be the wholesome part, my altar.
Ashe. Thank you. I mean, this is so wonderful. I mean, poetry, excuse me, and to the soul. It's such healing to the soul. So when we, if you have some contributions, or if you know anybody in music, or even dancers, choreographers, spoken word artists, we love to share them with us on Black Power Radio, because we want to highlight a conscious and positive artists to keep the flow going as far as how we need to move in a positive trajectory. So we thank you so much again, Sister Desiree and Sister Queen, for enlightening us on that and reminding us we're powerful beings. So we have to exercise that power and support and love each other while we build to empower our Black people. So with that being said, we're going to go straight into our guest of the hour. And we'll talk a little bit more about Sasha. Hey, Miss Danvers is in the building. Yes, we appreciate you so much for being here with us today. So Miss Tasha Decker Danvers was born in Lambeth, England, and she is a prolific Olympic medalist. Some of her best runs, 300 meters in 2000, 400 meters in 2008, 100-meter hurdles in 2003, 400-meter hurdles in 2008, the high jump in 1998, just to name a few of her great accomplishments. But before we begin, we want to actually have a video from Ready, Set, Gold, one of her recent interviews concerning the work that she does in the athletic field and emotional literacy. So I want to welcome Sister Tasha Davis in the house.
Good evening. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not sure, are you playing the video now or after?
But I live here
Afterwards,
in sunny Southern California, Los Angeles. And guess what? I am a Ready, Set, Gold athlete mentor. So today I'm going to be talking about the fact that it's okay to have emotions. A lot of times when you're a sports athlete or just a regular human being, people will say, think positive, stay positive. But sometimes what that can do is make you feel like it's not okay to not feel okay sometimes. I'll tell you a story. When I was 14 years old, I was racing against senior athletes and I was really nervous, really afraid. And so I got in the blocks and they left me behind. Like I was shaking so much, The senior athletes just left me behind. And I was disappointed, but I kind of expected it, so it didn't really affect my emotions that much. Now, fast forward to the Olympic Games and the trials for my games, for me to be able to compete. Now, in the trials, I hadn't had a really good year, but I was expecting to win this race. The gun goes off, I give it my best, I get to the end of the race, and right by the line, the other competitor passes me, and I get second place. Now, not terrible, but guess what? It meant that possibly I wouldn't get to go to the Olympic Games. I was absolutely devastated. Now, most people say, well, it's okay, you'll be fine, cheer up, don't feel bad. But I did feel bad. And I want you to know that if you have a bad race, if you have a bad competition, if you're not having a great day, if you had a bad test at school, or whatever's going on in your day, it's okay to acknowledge that you're not feeling good. And so I cried after my race because I didn't win. And I gave myself a certain amount of time to process the fact that I was sad. I was disappointed. I'd actually waited 8 years to compete at an Olympic trials again. So I was disappointed. Now, what you can do when you are feeling low, when you are feeling disappointed or unhappy about a performance or anything to do with something you're trying to achieve or accomplish, talk to somebody. Don't just experience it on your own. I had my coach, we talked it out, we looked at the possibilities, and then from there, you get to decide what you do next. So what I did next was I dealt with the things I could control. The race was already over, couldn't do anything about that. But I could look back at the race and see where I could improve. I could look back at the year and see where I could improve. I could acknowledge where I was feeling and say, you know, tomorrow we'll work on these things. So there's lots of opportunities for you to build from that space. Just don't get stuck in that emotion. So experience it, acknowledge it, but don't get.
Woo-hoo. So that's
you.
just one of many advisors that this queen, activist and influential, not only for young girls, boys, but for all of us. We want to welcome to the show to Black Power Radio, Miss Tasha Danvers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me well. My apologies. I'm on the road. I got my days mixed up. So I'm here with Sam on the way back home. So apologies for that. So I just wanted to, I heard you mention that you may be looking for people who are phenomenal spoken word. Just a little birdie in your ear. Sam is phenomenal at spoken word, so you will be blown away if you get him to do that. I don't know if you've heard it before, but if you haven't, you need to. He's amazing. So I just thought I'd put that out there.
No,
but as for me,
come on.
Fantastic. But as for me, yes, my name is Tasha Dianca Danvers. I was born in London, England. My parents are of Jamaican heritage, so probably a little bit why I ended up in the athletics field. They both did sports. That's in fact how they met. They met at the English schools championships, and then the rest is history. So my background is there. I was in the United Kingdom growing up until I was 18, until I was recruited to run track and field for the University of Southern California. So that's kind of a big, a little nugget of how my journey began.
Right on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
It's just me. It's my platform, but forgive me, old age as well as kicking in. But we want to say thank you again for joining us. We just had you on last week to talk a little bit about Prop 6. And so if Sam will be able to come back next week, we want to not only follow up with the results of Prop 6, how we can continue to mobilize. And I want to talk a little bit about that as well concerning Measure Shake, because this is a very important initiative, if not the most important initiative that we had on the ballot concerning descendants of chattel slaves and the word slavery. So again, thank you for being with us this evening. But today is going to be the focus on you as a phenomenal, influential woman and one to watch in 2025. So we deliberately wanted you to tell us exactly how we can mobilize as especially a Black woman, where we are labeled so many things and have so much trauma. Sometimes we want to veer left, we want to veer right. What is your inspiration to continue to be a mentor to others? Like, what would your, and we just saw a beautiful video of you talking about how to emotionally combat certain things. So if you want to give a message to the Black woman, what would that be?
I believe what has driven me is it really pains me to see people just surviving, including myself. And there's been moments in my life where I felt like, man, if I just had a nudge, if I just got a little help, if I just got a little support, if I just understood more, if I just had a different beginning, things would be so different. And my passion is to potentially give people that thing that they didn't have. So whether it's that word, whether it's that support, whether it's helping them through personal development, whatever it is, that to me is so important. And as a Black woman, I feel like, especially, our generation, I'm 47, we come from a generation that really was closer, the further it goes up, the further we get, the closer we get to slavery and things of that nature. And so there was so much that didn't get handed down to us. There's so many things that a lot of us lack. So it could be whether it's, emotional intelligence, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's emotional literacy, whatever the case may be, we've missed out on a lot. So as a Black woman, it is, incumbent upon us to go above and beyond to be able to create the type of environment, the type of community, the type of family that we never got to have, right? That many of us didn't get to have, and to continue to plant those seeds, because we are leaders in our community, right? It's unspoken, but we very much are leaders in our communities. So it's important for us to do the work. And I feel very strongly that the work starts at home. It starts with you. It starts with not denying yourself, therapy or counseling if you need it. I know in my experience of the Black community, we just shun away anything that might, deem us to be weak. I remember when I was young, I was dating this young man, and I noticed that he would always spell things backwards. And even at that young age, I couldn't have been more than 15 years old, right? Yeah, don't ask me why I was dating at that age. But I noticed that he was writing his words backwards and upside down and, just not the way they would. And I said, I think you're dyslexic. I don't even know how I knew about dyslexia. And so I thought, well, you should tell someone, because maybe you could get help at school, which he could have. But when he went to his parents, who are of Caribbean descent, they were Caribbean, they were livid. There's nothing wrong with you. That's ridiculous. Don't talk that nonsense. You can't do it. Just and they just completely dismissed this idea. But it was right there in front of our faces. And so I see that a lot in the Black community, where we won't just acknowledge what is, right? There's a thing people say, there's, positive thinking, there's negative thinking, but there's also neutral thinking, right? Because that is sort of a way of doing a negative way of doing positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. Don't worry about it. That type of thing. But it doesn't allow you to acknowledge what is actually happening. If your house is on fire, you can't just stand in the middle of the fire and say, yes, everything's fine. It's wonderful. Oh, that smoke smells delicious. You can't do that. And you have you have to get in between. What is the neutral here? The situation is, I can't spell. I'm struggling in school. I do everything backwards. School is terrible for me. So let's deal with what the actual situation is. So I say all that to say, we need to really look at what's going on with us. What are we experiencing as a community? Like, are there things as a person in our family that we keep seeing repeated over and over again? Do I always find the wrong partner in life? Do I always have bad experiences at my jobs? Do I always get like, what do you keep seeing repeated over and over and over? And stop pointing, the society is doing it to me, and we need to start looking within to discover how we can change our trajectory and manifest into our experience that which we would want to have. So my main thing is we need to do the work, start at home with ourselves, then move on to our family and our community and just keep spreading it outwards.
That's right. So start at home, man. Very well said. Again, the emotional literacy part is so important for us to reiterate and support each other. We do have our national chairman here on stage with us. I wanted him to address our listening audience. National chairman? Is he? I think he's on standby. Can you unmute your line, sir, while we go on to our next topic? Sheikh Imam Akbar. Okay, well, we'll get back to our national chairman in a bit. So 10P program, let's talk about it. Exactly what is it in depth, and how can local cities or communities book either a town hall or have some sort of program developed for 10P, or how can they implement it in their area?
That's a great question. So the 10P program is a program that Sam Brown, I was going to say his whole name, Samuel Nathaniel Brown, because he always introduces himself that way, created while he was incarcerated. And it started because he was challenged by his mentor / supervisor to make a difference in the lives of those that were around him. Because he said, he's looking at the yard, he's looking at all these, people who have come from challenging backgrounds, who don't care about life or don't seem to care about life because they didn't feel like they had anything to live for. They got 1 billion life sentences. And he said to his supervisor, well, these guys, they don't really have anything to live for. And she responded to him, well, do something about it. And being a man of, of pride and wanting to make sure he took on that challenge, he took on that challenge by way of creating the 10P program. Now, what is the 10P program? It's a program that teaches emotional literacy. So it's really understanding yourself, right? Really being able to recognize and understand your own emotions, also being able to recognize and understand the emotions of others, and then having the tools to manage all of that, right? So it's like, well, if I'm angry, I can recognize that I'm angry, but then what do I do about it, right? If I'm pretending I'm happy all the time, I can acknowledge that I'm doing that, but what do I do about it? And that's the key. It's being able to not only acknowledge, but to be able to partner that with what to actually do about it. And so when he created that program, it was, he had to go out and convince all these, muscly, thuggish, brain crusher people to come and take this program. And it got hugely popular until it had a 10-year waiting list. And so Sam's aspiration has been to take that, what started in, the most, unsuspecting of places, and bring it to the world, because the reality is we all need it, right? It's like a hidden secret that most people don't realize they need. It's like, okay, well, I need a coach for my fitness. I need a school teacher to make sure I'm great at maths. I need a financial advisor to keep my finances in order. But nobody wakes up. Well, I won't say nobody, but most people don't wake up and say, oh, you know what? I need an emotional literacy coach. I need some emotional intelligence. Most people don't say that. They just wing it. And the problem with winging it in such a matter as this is it has such an impact on your life. Giving the example that I said about anger, for example, if I don't know how to manage my anger, I could end up anything from, self-destructing my own life. I could go off on my boss and lose my job, and that could have catastrophic effects, all the way to serious things like murder, right? People have been murdered because someone was angry, right? So it's life or death. And it was life or death for Sam as well when he was teaching himself this stuff, because he wanted to survive so he could come home and be with his mother before she got too old for him to ever be with her again. And so what happens now is that with that expansion, it's moving into organizations like hospitals and doctors and schools and anywhere there's a heartbeat, because like I said, everyone needs it. And if people want to find out how they can participate, it's very simple. They just go to 10P, which is the number 10, so 10P for Paul, program.org. So 10P program.org. or they can reach out on social media, the social media NP program. So if people want to reach out, they can reach out. Sometimes Sam is even on there responding to people. That's how engaged he is with people who need the support. So very easy to do, to get in touch, but very vital.
Yes, and if also the number on the website, so 10pprogram.org, please log on, and then you'll see all of the resources on how this program is not only necessary but vital to change the trajectory of our mental state. So if you want to call in, that number is 530-341-3226. That's 530-341-3226. We'll also put it in the chat. If you want to also email, learn about 10p@gmail.com, learn about 10p@gmail.com.
Right.
Again, we'll put them in the chat.
And that little chat button that you see, you see at the bottom right hand corner is very responsive. So if you just popped a little message in there, you'll get a response. So that's good to know as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And the beauty about this program is that it's broken down into sections. So as you said, it's not a one size fit all. It actually is EL, as you say, emotional literacy, according to what group or needs of that group. So I want to just go and break down some of the topics, and then after that, we want to have any questions from our stage and our audience to chime in to ask you any questions afterwards. So the Discovering Emotional Literacy, you have one for ready to run for that. It's the athlete, the youth empowerment program, and then we'll go into more the incarceration aspect of that. So what would be the determining factors for corporations, athletes, youth programs?
They said that he can come in the morning.
I think someone's mic's on. So it really depends on the clients, right? Let's see if we can.
Hold on one.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. So it really depends on the client and what their needs are. So there will be an assessment or a conversation that really allows Sam and his staff to determine what's best suited, what kind of program is best suited for the client. So for example, like you said, somebody who is working with doctors is going to have a completely different, potentially, program needs than someone who's currently incarcerated. So really, once someone reaches out, Sam or one of his staff will have a conversation with that client about what their needs are, what they're trying to accomplish. And then obviously there is I don't want to say a skeleton, but there is a core of what the program is. But then Sam and his team will adapt it to suit the needs of that client. So that's how that works.
Right on, right on. So again, family, 10pprogram.org, share it. There's so many connections there and information for you to start our healing in our area. Now, I want to know, being from England, what is the difference that you see, or is there any difference that you see with Black people being treated here versus in England? What would or differences that you see concerning how we approach things, how we respond, or even the type of resources that they have versus the United States and in Europe?
You know, that's a great question, Queen, because I don't think I knew there were differences, but being the wife of Sam at this point, it's even opened my eyes up to even more differences than I even realized. So the way that I grew up, and I can't speak for the whole of the country because I don't know everyone's experience, but I can speak from my experience. I grew up in a society where everybody mixed, right? It was very common. Like, it was the majority that you see mixed race couples. So white women with Black men, black men with white women. This is extremely common when I grew up. Most of the children, and back then we used to call them half caste, but that's not, that's not politically correct anymore. So interracial, right? Most of the children at school were interracial. So the divide between black and white, there would be that kind of stuff going on. You might drive along the street and some idiot would yell out, the N-word or something like that. And that just felt like, well, that happens anywhere because there's ignorant people everywhere, right? But for the most part, it just felt like everyone sort of meshes and nobody's doing anything, untoward or weird. You would have the kind of things that you experience here. So, for example, black men mysteriously hanging themselves in cells, right? When they've been taken, mysteriously. So things like that do go on, but I think the general consensus of society is just sort of like, oh, well, those are things we're just dealing with. It's, we don't hate each other because of that, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, but when I say that, I'll give you an example. I had a friend, I went to USC in college, and I had a friend who was my roommate at the time, and she was Asian, and she was dating a black man. And she said that they went to the movies and the black women behind them were just constantly kissing their teeth and making comments. And that was strange to me because where I'm from, we just don't do that. But I noticed that the black race here was a lot more angry at those types of relationships than I had ever experienced, right? They just not having any of it. And the more I learn about, how deep and how long black people have suffered here in America, maybe versus the UK, I understand it. Because it was alien to me. I couldn't understand, well, you're just, in my mind, you're just making matters worse. You're being like the people you don't want to be like. You're being racist. You're being this, you're being that. I don't get it. I don't understand why you would continue to perpetuate this issue. But the more I learn about what people have been through here versus what, my parents and their parents went through, they went through similar things, don't get me wrong. But England, compared to the whole of the United States, is a very small, right? You could probably fit the UK in California. So the feeling and the vibration and the torment and the trauma runs deep, right? And it just keeps getting passed down generation to generation. So there's a lot of difference. I personally haven't been back to England in a while, but in my experience and how I grew up, still to this day, I'm still learning things. I'm like, oh, whoa, okay, wow, all right, I get that. And I'll be like, I'll question Sam about, why do you say things like that? What do you mean? What? Don't be nice. And he's like, nope. And he'll teach me something about the issue.
So have a question that I want to ask you, Miss Tasha, Queen Tasha. All right, yes. So when you come in a situation to a point that you talk to your brothers and sisters and you say, hey, I'm seeing a little difference or however, and then you talk to them about counseling or whatever, but they still want to fight you on that aspect of it, because they have demonized, counseling or, even consider an ancestor. So what do you do at that time? Because you already know they need the counseling. You need to talk to somebody. You need to help. So how do you still keep them and still convince them to have the counseling?
Right. That's a great question. And you could look at it from two perspectives. So one perspective is that you plant the seed, right? You can just offer, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? But if you let the horse stand there long enough, they may just drink on their own, or they may get so thirsty at the next stop that they're like, okay, I'm going to go for it, right? But it's because they had already had the experience, that you had already planted the seed. So don't think that because they don't take your advice right now, that it's in vain for you talking to them. The other thing that I try to do is not to make them wrong when I'm giving them the advice. First of all, I'm going to ask them, are you open to feedback, right? If they're not open to feedback, I'm not going to give it to them because they deserve the right to decide whether or not they want to change. People don't have an issue with change. They have an issue with being changed. So if we can get them to a space where they want to change rather than us trying to change them, they will come along willingly. It's when people feel like we're trying to change them that they resistance because they feel like you're making them wrong, and no one likes to feel like they're wrong. So that's the first thing. Be okay with planting the seed and just letting it be and detaching from it. The other thing I heard, I think I was reading Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. I can't remember. It's a book by Bob Proctor. But I believe in this book, he said that a mentor, yes, it was actually Bob Proctor. His mentor said to him, he asked him something about his life. And his life was a shambles. And he offered him a solution. And Bob was resistant to it. Oh, that's nonsense. That stuff doesn't work. And he says to him, well, look at your life and look at mine, right? Look at the people's lives who are doing these things and look at your life. If you're okay with the results that you're getting, by all means, don't worry about my advice. But if you're not okay with the results that you're getting, all I will offer you is an invitation to try it. If you try it for 30 days, 60 days, half of a year, and it doesn't work, disregard it. You can let it go. You're not, obliged to do it forever, but try it because what you're doing isn't working, and it's worth trying something on that may work. And what's the worst that can happen? You get a chance to open up and talk to someone who's in a non-biased position, right? So there's different ways you can attack it. It's really, it really comes down to knowing the person that you're speaking to. I had a speech coach that once told me, never let what you want to say get in the way of what they need to hear. And so it's important to make sure that you understand who you're in front of, right? If I just want to get my point across.
I need you to repeat that. Please say that again. That's a t-shirt right there. Say that one more time, sis.
Never let what you want to say get in the way of what they need to hear. And it's so important because it plays into understanding your audience, whether your audience is your husband, whether your audience is your wife, whether your audience is your sister. What is your objective when you're communicating with them? Is your objective just to get you? Listen, they just need to hear. I just need y'all to hear me, okay? Because I know, right? Is it that? You just want to get your point across? Or do you want what you are saying to land and impact their lives? And if you want it to land and impact their lives, you got to know what drives them, what ticks them off. So if your sister is someone that, the minute you start mentioning this stuff, that they start flying off the handle, what's a way that you've seen before? Let me
ask you one more question. So that's
yeah, for sure.
What about when you're dealing with a collective of people? Like I said, I'm having a dinner party and there's gonna be some sisters there. They didn't told me about their concerns, so I have a collective. It's gonna probably be about 7 of us, So
right.
I navigate the room, actually getting all the needs out with the healing process of the sisters, when I haven't actually had the one-on-one with everybody to get to know them, but we all together.
Right.
Space. So how do we do it as a whole?
Well, I would say in a situation like that, do it based on results. If you can get someone who's an expert, who went through it, whose life was upside down, who got counseling and whose life is now turned around, bring them in, have them do 5-10 minute talk about their experience. That, separates you from it, because, sometimes when you're the leader and they're used to seeing you, if they are used to seeing you, they're like, oh, I know her life, but I ain't listen to her, or it might be that you want to have someone that they may look up to as an expert. So you can bring in a quote unquote expert. Even if you're the expert, you can use yourself. But I would definitely create an environment where you just prove it with the results. Have someone come in and talk about it. Show the statistics. If you need to get specific with the statistics with Black people, find that information and present it to them in a way that, again, is not accusatory. Y'all are doing this all wrong. Let me teach y'all how to be right. No one wants to hear that. all you want to do is share information. I'd like to share this with you because this has been something that has profoundly changed my life. I invite you to really consider it, because I used to, and you can even use your own example. Like, for example, you can say, I used to feel that, therapy was ridiculous, it was pathetic, it was useless. I heard a million bad experiences, but I kept searching for the right therapist that would work for me, and it has completely transformed my life. And because of that, I want to make an impact on other people's lives by sharing what has helped me so profoundly. I feel like I would be doing my community of women a disservice if I did not share it with this. So I ask you to keep an open mind, and I'll share this with you. And if you have any questions, I'm more than open, because I know this works. Does that make sense?
Ah, shit. Yes, it does. Yes, sister. Yes, I love it. Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
On point. Such words to the wise. And it's every day. It's a struggle. We got a lot of strong Black women out here, but what you just said was spot on. We got to scale it back, and we have to have a listening ear rather than a demanding voice. And I think you said that brilliantly. So thank you so much for that pointer. Does anyone else on the floor have a question for the great Tasha Danvers?
And thank you for that question, Queen. That was a great one that I'm sure many people will benefit from. Maybe they wanted to ask but didn't have the courage, or are listening in and wanted to ask but weren't online at the time. So thank you for that question. That was great.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do we have any more hopefuls on the stage? Or do you have any questions in the chat for Miss Tasha Devers?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Sister Courtney, Groove Diva. Where you at, Courtney? I know she wanted to meet you all. She's a big fan of Sam. And she's in the background. She might be busy right now. So I'm kind of calling
Well,
her
Sam is here.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can see him.
Hey, I know you're driving now, but we wanted to say thank you again for this work with Measure 6. We actually touch a little bit on the results. They're still counting, I believe. Can you, if you're able to, can you give us a brief update on Prop 6?
Yes. Peace, y'all. Thank you for the opportunity. Especially speaking to my incredible, charismatic, beautiful, wise wife. I'm enjoying just sitting on the sideline. With that said, though, they're still counting. They're now up to 70%, and at the 70% mark, the yes vote is still down like 900,000 votes. But there's still pretty big counties still being counted, like Alameda County, Los Angeles County. Unfortunately, they seem to have a lot more counties that said no. A lot of those white counties and rural counties that we didn't really get an opportunity to raise much awareness in, a lot of them said no. But at the end of the day, our tally has been going up, even though small percentages. So I'm still waiting. That's why I haven't went online and said anything about it yet, because you gotta kill me all the way.
He's like, none till the fat lady sings.
Even then I'll be back. My legacy will live on.
Yes.
So we are behind you 100%. Again, we're educating a lot of people nationwide are aware of Prop 6, but I don't think they understand the significance of what the results should be. And so I guess you'll join us next week. Hopefully all the votes will be tallied, and then we'll have a final result and move on what will be the next step or course of action depending on that result.
All right, Dr. Truth Bay, while you have the brother on here, can you, because I can show you like my ballot, when the brothers and sisters went down there to vote, they actually confused like what they were supposed to be voting for when it was under Prop 6. They reworded everything.
Yeah, they sure did. So I don't know if you're aware of that, Sam, but when I actually went to vote myself, they didn't even have the word Prop 6, which is what a lot of people are known about.
Measure 6.
Measure 6. And they had to, if people didn't read it directly, it was a bit confusing. So how do we approach something like that?
That's a great question. So this was my first time ever voting in my life, and it did the same thing to me. When I went to vote, and I was like, that's not the language I'm used to, so it was confusing to me too.
Yeah, we can't hear him, Truth Bay. We can't hear him.
Yeah,
Your
he's
sound went
traveling.
out.
We lost you a little bit, Brother Sam. Can you repeat what you just said?
I said, yeah, that was kind of confusing to me as well. That wasn't something that I was accustomed to seeing. That was my first time voting in my life. And the entire time prior to the vote, I kept preparing myself for, to look and see Prop 6, to look and see Prop 36, and Prop this and Prop that. So when it finally presented itself and it was Measure 6 and Measure 36, that was confusing to me as well. Maybe that's something that we should address in the future for the new ballots coming up.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And they did that on purpose.
New day.
Absolutely. So we definitely want to revisit the strategies to that because, again, family. So those who may not know, Measure 6 was the state ballot in order to remove the word slavery in the state constitution for involuntary servitude, especially for our brothers and sisters behind that wall who are forced to work. And so these a long time coming with prison reform, but with Prop 6, the work that Mr. Brown has helped to co-author to bring it to fruition, we have to mobilize and make sure a message is clear. If a no is proposed, family, they're telling us they want to continue the involuntary servitude and the mistreatment of our brothers and sisters behind the wall, and we cannot have that. So please, family, support the efforts of Prop 6. Go to 10pprogram.org. That's 10, the letter P, program.org. Find out more information on Prop 6 for those who have probably missed the voting vote, but it's not late to be part of the mobilization to make sure that this proposition and measure comes to fruition, not only statewide, but nationwide. Nationwide. So we want to say thank you again, Brother Sam and Sister Tasha, for joining us today on Black Power Radio. Do you have any last comments, Miss Tasha?
I would say, listen, we got this. We've always been strong. We've always been able to come through. We just need to continue to be even more focused. Sorry, my lights got out. We need to just be even more focused and more laser and more intentional about what we do, about what we are seeking to accomplish. So never give up. We got this. Even at the tiniest step is still a step. So just keep stepping, sis.
Right on. Let's keep it pushing, family. Keep it pushing. It's only the beginning. So with that being said, we are eternally grateful. Again, and join us on tomorrow's Black Power Radio show. We will have a special guest, Mr. Will Price from the Vyers Movement. The Vyers Movement. Oh, and you don't want to miss that, family. This is a specific strategy for us to make sure that our local politicians, wherever we are held accountable for the lack of the Black agenda that they continue to push. So please make sure you're there. Same bat time, same bat channel. And definitely we will have some strategies for you to walk away with. In the meanwhile, please look up Proposition 6 if you're not aware of it, and let all your friends and family know the importance of this measure. This is our bill, one of many that represents the interests of we the people. And we must continue on with the advocacy to make sure our voices are heard. So that being said, we want to relinquish the mic back to our host, Queen Janae and Zinga, for any other comments or questions or comments from our listening audience.
Yes. We always got something to talk about on Black Power Radio. We want to, we approaching the hour, but I do want to extend an invitation to Sister Tasha and Brother Sam Brown to join us in Washington, D.C. for the Sankofa International Conference.
Yes!
Yes. The Sankofa International Conference is held the week of April the 14th through April the 20th here in Washington, D.C. The actual day of the conference will be 4/19, April the 19th. But we
Yes.
want you to come and try to be here by April the 16th, tentatively, for the Washington, D.C. Emancipation Day Parade. Okay, and we're asking all of our black family to come to Washington D.C. that week and participate in Washington D.C. Emancipation Day Parade. Washington D.C. was the
Yes.
residents of Washington D.C. were the only ones granted reparations after slavery. The only ones
Douglas
in this
City.
country. That's it.
Right on.
Okay, so
Well,
in
thank you for that
commemorative.
opportunity.
Yes, just pencil me in and check y'all schedules. I know everybody's really busy, but you have some time to get prepared. And I would love for you to be one of my crowning queens, Sister Tasha. What we do,
Yes.
we have a crowning ceremony. Last this year, I keep saying last year, but this year flew by so fast. This year, we crowned Queen Mother Pamela Smith of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I would love for you all to meet Queen Mother Pam and meet Queen Mambakazi of Zimbabwe and some of the other royal family that are coming to Washington, D.C. from all over the world. Now, this is not just limited to Africa. This is Brazil, England, London, France, anywhere where we have Africans that have been throughout the diaspora. We invite them to come for a personal tour, which will be held by myself and others of Washington, D.C. We want to take you to the African American Museum. We want to take you to the Frederick Douglass House so you can really get a feel of the cultural difference here the District of Columbia. You know, right
Nation's
here, all of
capital.
our history is right here in the nation's capital. So we
That's
can
right.
spend the day going to museums. You know, we're going to treat you to a nice dinner and everything. And then on that Saturday, we're going to have a very nice conference. We'll have different workshops available. If you want to teach a financial literacy workshop, a mental health workshop, teach us about Proposition 6, because I believe that if we
Mhm.
got more representation and more education, we could reach more people and we could actually get them to move on this, because we're
That's
all
right.
doing something, but we're not doing it together. So the Sankofa International Conference gives us that bridging the gap between the continent and Africans throughout the diaspora to come to Washington D.C. and Sankofa with us. Let's learn
Right.
from each other. Let's exchange cultural information. We have an end game. You know, we've been doing the Sankofa conference since 2019, and we started off slow. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. Then we began to develop what we want to do, and now we're into land banking, and we have the kings and the queens that own the land on the continent of Africa that want to connect with Africans here to build economic stability, so we can become our own nation within a nation and trade with one another and build and farm. Like, imagine if the food bank shut down right now, where we going to get food from? You know,
Right.
what do we own? We don't own any ports. We don't have a trade embargo going on with any other countries unless it's a private entity or whatever. We have implemented all of this. I work under my mentor, my godfather, Mr. Joseph Waker, and the Waker Foundation, and he's been doing this for over 70 years of his life. He's dedicated his life to bridging the gap. He's been to the continent several times, and I would just love to have you all and to invite you all on this platform to get excited about the Sankofa International Conference and to join us. The tickets are already on sale on Eventbrite. You can look up Sankofa International Conference. I'll put the link in the chat room as well, so we can get on board with building these and developing these workshops for throughout the week. Okay, yeah, they drop for second. Okay, can
And
y'all hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Queen Janae, I need that link so I can share it in my 20 stories. But before we leave, I have another poem that I would like to read. And this is
Okay,
coming out
one
of
second. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so I know Tasha and Sam have to go. They just
Well,
got
I
off
like
the
them
road.
to hear the poem before they leave because this is
Okay.
inspiration for all our brothers and sisters.
Okay, 1 second. So again, we're gonna extend that invitation for the Sankofa International Conference for you to be our special guest, Miss Sam and Tasha. Okay, did you get that part? Yeah, they dropped off for a little while.
Yes, ma'am. No, we were only gone for about 10 seconds.
2 seconds. Okay. All right. So we're gonna lock y'all in. We're gonna bring you in. Just let me know. We'll have travel accommodations and Airbnb or whatever you need to be here comfortably. We'll get that information to you. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
so
we
much.
need you there.
Right on. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we
You
need to
sold
do
me
that
up
too.
free food.
Yes. Please, that's
Yes,
my
we need
special.
some food.
We're gonna have plenty of food. Plenty of
That's
food.
right.
Okay.
I work for food, baby.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you
Well,
so
go
much
ahead.
for the invitation. And
All right.
Yes. And again,
No
I want to
problem.
say
Thank you.
thank
And
you
see.
on behalf of the community, on behalf of our Black youth, especially. This is great work that's going to affect them from years to come, and we don't take that lightly. And we want to say sincerely thank you for taking the time out to address our audience. And let's continue the work, family. Understand and support, study Prop 6, and then log on to 10pprogram.org to find out more about the emotional literacy portion that you can implement in your town, USA. So inquire within about it. We already put the information in the chat. And again, without being said, Queen Aset, if you want to just read your poem, make sure it's a minute or two to
Now,
send.
he's actually from Master Shep, and he's also with Soul Healing because we have to understand when we go to counseling, we have to go with counselors that are melanated like us. That's why I talk about Dr. Baruti, and also I'm going to talk about Master Shep with Soul Healing and Dr. Yu, and you can find all of them, they online. So the poem is Who I Am. You wouldn't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am, and then you believe and have a life of peace because your soul is at ease. You see my source in the essence from which the world is conceived, which means that I was here before the birds and the bees. Now, if I have been guessed, I am eternity. But if you have guessed, you have guessed correctly. This simply means we share the same destiny to realize we are the God and Trinity. That is talked about in Christianity. Now, some will say that that's vanity or go as far as insanity. That's because they believe in Western theologically. But as far as for me, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Now to say that the only path to immortality, but that's the path for me, this life you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in tune may reach their full divinity. And this is done because of He and I in He. Peace.
Okay, Ashe.
Ashe.
thank you. Thank you for sharing.
We are the God and the goddesses. We are the angels walking the earth. It's time for us to change the world. Are you ready, brothers and sisters? Because it's time to take your throne and do what we have to do in our community. Not asking anybody. We making it.
That's right. That's right. So there's our mascot. If you haven't heard it in her voice, real about understanding our identity politics. So thank you again. So today, Ms. Tasha Danvers and Sam Brown, we are grateful again for the work that you do. And if there's any closing comments, I don't know if our national chairman is on the line, but we do got to split in a minute, family. So let's wrap it up. And Black Power to y'all.
All right. Well, this is Brother New World. I'd like to be the next one so I can close out because we got to lead in that Turner Library and we locked up the doors. We getting ready to roll out. So I want to start off by saying, how do you make the Black nation rise? Agitate, educate, and organize. Please don't forget our political prisoners, Brother Mumia, H. Rap Brown, Grandmaster Jay. They never forgot us. We shouldn't forget them. Represented and produced and sponsored by the Million Woman World Movement, Kwanzaa Associates Incorporated, The Natural Zapper by She Eternity, and She, the Sankofa Healing Experience, the original Black Panther Party, as well as the new Black Panther Party. We here at the Nat Turner Library. Please don't forget to support us. And I want to remind all of us before I leave, I love us so much. I simply encourage us to be you better and take it all back, make it all black. We gonna make it when we take it all back, family. Take it all back, make it all black. We can make it if we take it all back, just like that. Love y'all. I drop my mic. See y'all tomorrow night.
Hey, Ashe.
Ashe,
And say,
Ashe. National Chairman, you with us?
Ashe.
Shake your man, Akbar.
Any closing comments, support, $77 Bakers, just in case, if you want to help donate and keep this informative show on the air as we continue to bring you in very necessary information for lifestyles, Black empowerment, and youth strength. So that being said, we want to see you here tomorrow while we talk to Will Smith and the Vyers Movement.
Well, hold on. Let's wait for Akbar to get on the mic. He got to close us out.
Are you still there now? Are you able to hear my mic?
Yeah, we can hear
I
you
think a
now.
couple of times earlier I wasn't able to get through. But I appreciate everyone tonight for coming and participating here at Black Power Radio. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for yet another episode of Black Power Radio. We hope that you all have enjoyed, that you were picked up from what you got from Miss Tasha Danvers and from Sam Brown and Dr. Critical Truth Bay and from Sister Janae and Sister Desiree, Staquette, and all the brothers that participated. Pay close attention when you play the tape back on New World is out there at the Nat Turner land. I frequent the Nat Turner land. In fact, I was born on the Nat Turner plantation, to be just honest with you. And Nat Turner, as I say, I grew up calling him brother. Just like you hear that brother that's from there, he's saying what? Oh, well, he's just a prophet. See, you have to understand that God sent you somebody. You think the only people that got someone was a white Jesus and a Donald Trump and a John Fitzgerald Kennedy? No, we got us some Elijah Muhammad. We got Marcus Messiah Garvey. We got Nat Turner. But if you don't use him as a prophet, then he's no prophet. But if you use him skillfully and effectively against your opposition, you'll find he's very much a prophet who taught himself to read, used the Bible to teach himself how to read. You just have to get busy, brothers and sisters, to know what your it is and learn the confessions of Nat Turner. I know for a fact we are so far away from our house that it take some magic to put us together properly. But I just only appeal to you to just know just a little more about yourself by visiting the Nat Turner, the so-called Nat Turner plantation or the Nat Turner property. Anywhere in that region, you would just learn something you didn't know. If you're not from there, go there and you'll learn something you didn't know. You'll learn a tremendous amount of information on how we got free from this peculiar brand of enslavement. Oh, I just had to say that to you. But I'm telling you now, brother and sister, that in there, go to Pocahontas Island if you haven't been. It, it's so many phenomenal things to gain from a tour at Pocahontas Island through Southampton, Virginia, Jerusalem, Virginia, and knowing these places to gain your rites of passage, your real ticket to freedom. I know a part of it is visiting that land. If you were anyhow born here, or if you feel that you started a part of your history is here, I guarantee it will have a phenomenal change on your life. And you will switch to freedom fighting immediately if you visit that land. It's just we have been caught up on other things, busy attending to everybody's business except ours. Look at those people, how they were wrapped up in the election and so forth. And when their plan didn't go through as planned, they attacked the black man and attacked the tooth fairy, and all they were ripped up because they put all of their eggs in one basket. They had no backup plan. They had prepared only the fact that they would win, but they had not prepared for a glorious win, meaning to carry out the plan to win. And they had not prepared for the agony of defeat. Brothers and sisters, you must be better prepared to manage your social and political business here in America. I'll land along in there somewhere, but be in New York, be in New York November 29th for Black Friday, but you need to prepare. You got to start holding your money now and avoid the rush because we want to have some economic plans coming out Black Friday, and only you can do it, brother and sister. New York at Adam Clayton Powell State Building on November 29th. I need everybody live. Be there, be square. And if you get there, you'll be glad that you came. You'll be glad to be there with your Black Panthers, your Black activists. All of the Black freedom fighters will be around there. And we will just circle the wagons for us and use our own stimulus package to stimulate our economy instead of putting our eggs in their basket at Best Buy, Staples, at Starbucks, No Luck, at McDevil's, what they call it, Burger King, some call it Murder King. But nevertheless, brother, sister, get in the game for yourself. I'll land my plane and ask you to attend tomorrow night right here at Black Power Radio, where we have yet another episode of Black Power Radio. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum and Black Power.
Black Power. And last but not
Yes,
least,
sir.
in announcements, November 25th and 26th, we are going to have our artist series. And so, as we didn't mention before, Brother Sam Brown, amongst many other activists that have the power of spoken word. So we're looking for artists, anyone who has the ability to sing or do spoken word. We would like to have them on the 25th and the 26th on Black Power Radio, where we're going to have our entertainment series right before Jedi May. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving, but we got our Black holidays to celebrate for. So contact your artist in mind. We're going to send out the link for that. But November 25th and 26th, we want to hear from unconscious artists from around the globe speaking about Black empowerment from all subjects. All right, so keep that in mind, and we'll tell you more about it along this week in Black Power Radio. So that being said, I am your favorite neighborhood policy analyst, MOJ, Dr. Truth Bay, along with Queen Janae and our host, National Sheikh Imam Akbar. Thank you so very much. Keep it black and keep it live. Power to the people.
All right, all power to the people. We are ending.
Bye.
Bye.